Yo, what's up, guys? We are back to another Loud Gator episode. We're in the same spot, same amount of wind. I'm in Chicago, so I'm not in Chicago, but maybe that's why it's windy out here. But here we are on another video explaining to you guys what is all about my system. Today, we're gonna take the time to talk about what is bass, what creates the rumble, the earthquake, the low frequencies that you hear when you get to experience a system like this. That's what we're going to talk about, so let's get to it.
Wake your ass
up. So what is bass? I got that question from somebody recently when I was chilling with them, and they asked me straight up, how does that happen? Like, why can't my system or my car do that? And it got me thinking, it's not very obvious what exactly bass is. How does it work? How you or why you need a system like this, or not like this, but just a subwoofer period, for you to be able to hear that low rumble that a system produces. That's what I want to explain today, because I want you to think about sound. There's frequencies from 0 hertz up to infinity hertz, right? Music is on certain frequencies. Vocals, when someone talks, are on certain frequencies. High pitch beeps or like hi-hats are higher in the frequency range, like 20,000, and bass is on the lower end. That's the 20 hertz to 50 hertz on the low, right? It goes down to 0. That's what bass is. Now, if you really want to break it down in terms of a system, bass is going to be, sub bass is going to be from 20 to 50. That's more of the very low rumbling earthquake sound or feeling that this produces, because the next step after that is mid bass. Mid bass could technically be considered a little bit higher, like 200 hertz plus, but in this comparison, we're just gonna go with bass as 50 to 200. That's the more accurate definition, and it's definitely getting a little windy, so let me go ahead and close this door. But bass technically could go up to 200 hertz. Now, mid bass is gonna be anywhere from 200 to 2000. That's where you're gonna hear a lot of the normal bass that you hear in a car. So, you know, there's that meme about the dude who pulls up with his new sound system and it's like that sort of. This is like a certain frequency. This would be a lot higher. That'd be closer to like 100 to 200. That's why you can hear that in that system, because typically cars don't come with a subwoofer or something that could play low, so they play about 200. All I'm doing to summarize all this is I am turning up the volume of frequencies that normally you can't hear anywhere else by me having a subwoofer and amplifying that. This is what the amplifiers do. They give these power to be able to play that louder. And so now frequencies that you would normally never hear are now audible / feelable. You could feel them because I've increased them. With the 200s to 2000s, you don't need a subwoofer because normal speakers can play that very well. And then from 2000 up, that's like the highs. That's what you get a tweeter, those little speakers for that you might see maybe on your door panels. That's for like high vocals, hi-hats, beeps, and typically you're not hearing those for too long because it's a very loud like beep. And that's my best attempt at a high beep, but I'm gonna play a video where you can see that, and that's not really going on for too long because that probably bursts your ears. Now, most of the time when you're listening to music, you're probably cut off at around 80 hertz, I would say, the lowest that most regular speakers. Sometimes with premium speaker packages, you might have something that goes a little bit into the 60 or 40s, but you still don't get the same experience that sub bass, true sub bass, like 20 hertz to 40 hertz gives you. So I hope I didn't complicate that. That is why I'm going to show you the video, because in the video you can see the frequency go from 2000 and it's very loud. I'm probably gonna have it a lot quieter. I'm gonna turn down the volume because I'm not trying to burst my eardrums. And then as you start getting lower, say 200, 100, it starts more getting loud, like the regular bass that you might see in a car or hear in a car. But then once we start getting to the low, that's where the subs kick in, and you're gonna see how this all works. So without further ado, let's get to it. Now, I might have to get back out actually, because I'm just gonna make this really quick. So subwoofers play the low frequencies, mid-range speakers play the mid-range frequencies, and then tweeters high play the high frequencies. So this is a subwoofer. This plays the really lows, 20 to about 50 hertz. This is a mid-range. I'm gonna talk a little bit more about this later, but this technically plays from around 50 up to 2000, and then this is a tweeter which will take off from the rest, 2000 and up. It might not be 100% accurate because I'm not looking at the numbers, the F graphs behind these speakers, but that's where this all comes into play. Each amplifier powers a certain frequency, so these massive ones power the lows, the subs. This mid-size amp plays the mid-size speaker system, and then that tiny little amp plays the tiny little high frequencies, the little tiny speakers. I think it's important that we talk about how the speakers look like, because this might be really new to people, and this is why I want to kind of break it down, make it simple. All right, so we've got the 2000 hertz video up right now. We're gonna start off at really low volume because I'm not trying to explode my eardrums with these really high frequencies. You'll see what I mean. But the subwoofers are fully kicked in, so you'll be able to really start to hear when they kick in. So let's get to it. So as you can see, very high. This is more of the higher mid-range. All right, we're gonna start turning it up because it starts getting a little bit lower. It starts more vibrating, more lower. So now let's turn it up to full volume. It's gonna get crazy. And I'm gonna be quiet so that you guys start. I'm gonna turn it down because then this gets way too low. If I try to amplify this low of a frequency, number one, you're probably not gonna feel or hear much, and my speakers might literally burst. I'm not gonna do that, but it keeps getting lower and lower. You're not gonna be able to hear this. This is like, even if I turn it up a little bit, it's gone. You can't hear anything. It sounds kind of awkward and weird, but I'm not even gonna show you. But this does a beautiful job at showing you exactly how bass works. It's all me turning up the volume of the very low hertz range, and that's why you hear it. And so when I'm driving by and you feel the earth shaking around you, it's because you're hearing 30 hertz for the first time in your life on 20,000 watts with 4 Sundown Audio ZV5s on lithium, all powered by 2 alternators by MacMan on a 400 amp times 2 800 total amps of amplifier power, getting straight to the lithium. And so that's why it's loud. Got a little carried away there, but I love my system and I love people asking me. I love educating people about how it works. I don't know everything 100%. Some of the things I said might not be 100% accurate, but I welcome the educational conversations down in the comments. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thanks for tuning in.